So I was gonna make a quick video. A lot of people were asking about why Rick Ross and 50 Cent even started beefing and why they've been beefing for so long. People gotta understand, a lot of people that Rick Ross was friends with over the years, especially when he came to the industry, when he first got in, especially like at his peak when he was putting out after Port of Miami, when he was putting out Triller and everything else. He was real close with guys like DJ Khaled, Diddy, a lot of other people he was doing business with. And around that time, 50 Cent was pressing the gas on people. And he was starting to deal with Mace. You remember when he had Mace on Window Shopper, trolling Diddy? Because a lot of people were, 50 Cent was always saying Diddy was taking guys out and that he was homosexual and everything else. And then when Get Rich or Die Trying movie came out, he dropped the Window Shopper video and it had Mace in there. People were like, why is Mace in the video with 50 Cent? That was like the biggest confusion to people. They were like, why is he in the video with 50 Cent around that time? And basically Mace was trying to sign with 50 Cent and G Unit. And at that time, Diddy still had ties to Mace, his publishing and everything else, and he wasn't trying to let go of that. And that's when the back and forth started between Diddy and 50 Cent. He was already beefing with Fat Joe. I think it was starting to die down a little bit around that time, because I think a year later, Fat Joe started complimenting 50 Cent. This is like after beefing with 50 for like 7, 8 years. Probably not that long, probably 7 years. And Rick Ross, around that time, that's when after Katrina in 05, Rick Ross was in Miami. Lil Wayne moved to Miami. Fat Joe was down there in Miami. DJ Khaled was in Miami. And then 50 Cent was dealing with French Montana. And French Montana had came around, allegedly, and ended up somehow getting a video of DJ Khaled's mom and where she stayed at and whatever, like a whole location. So they ended up taking a picture or something with DJ Khaled's mom at her job. She was asleep. So mind you, DJ Khaled's mom is at her job. She's asleep. So a couple of members go over, take a picture with her while she's asleep. She had like a broomstick or whatever in her hand. I forgot what it was. And she's over there asleep. And they took a video of it and they put it on the internet. And DJ Khaled, everybody was like, hold on, who is that lady they took a video of? They had took a video of DJ Khaled's mom around that time. And a lot of people didn't know it or know who she was. I mean, DJ Khaled wasn't the most popular guy in the world, so a lot of people didn't know who he was around that time. But it put a lot of attention on him at that time. And that's what started the beef between him and 50. And 50 was like, if you're around Fat Joe, and the reason why that happened, 50 Cent started beefing with Khaled like that was because Tony Yayo was trying to get his song pushed in Miami. I think he had So Seductive or something out there like that. And DJ Khaled wasn't messing with him. He was like, nah, you beefing with Fat Joe, I ain't messing with y'all G Unit dudes. I can't rock with y'all. I'm Terror Squad, you G Unit, I'm not rocking with you. So Tony Yayo basically let 50 know, like, bro, I tried to get my music pushed in Miami and Khaled wasn't messing with me, you know what I'm saying? Khaled the one you go to get the music pushed. So 50 like, what? Oh, so he against us too? Okay, bet. All right, we'll see. So that's when he got French Montana to give him that video of DJ Khaled mom or whatever. All right, posted that on, I think This Is 50. That's when This Is 50 website was jumping. And going into that, you got to understand, Rick Ross was heavy with DJ Khaled, Diddy, everybody 50 beefing with, except, and then he started going at Lil Wayne. I don't know if everybody know it, but 50 Cent was going at Lil Wayne hard for years. So that's when Rick Ross was like, man, he beefing with everybody I know. Everybody I'm cool with, he beefing with. So he like, shoot, I'm gonna start dissing him. That's when he put out the Mafia Music, when 50 Cent was going back and forth with his baby mama. It was a huge thing where 50 Cent's baby mama came out and said that he burned down, he allegedly got somebody to burn down her place, or he had something to do with it. And it was on the news and everything else. You can look it up. And Rick Ross went to Mafia Music, and he went and dropped some music about it in a verse. He dropped something about it. He was talking about it in the verse. And that's when 50 Cent got caught wind of it. And 50 Cent was like, this dude talking about my kid's mother and me situation. Like, what he got going on? I can't believe he doing this right now. So when I seen that, I was like, man, they finna start going back and forth with each other. And it's gonna be very serious in a minute. And that's when 50 Cent turned around, found out Rick Ross was a CO. They found out he was a correction officer. And found out that then he found his baby mama. So not only was he going around telling everybody Rick Ross was an officer, Officer Ricky, that's when he found his baby mama too. And that's when he did the videos with her, and he was taking her around shopping and got her a mink coat. You can find some of those videos online still. And Rick Ross was basically trying to, go back and forth with 50, but then it turned into a situation where 50 found out he was an officer. That's when things got serious. And a couple of years later, that's when they led the gunplay going around and actually getting 50 Cent in a situation where they was fighting at the BET Awards. And it was a huge thing that was going on. They started fighting at the BET Award. That when 50 Cent was like, man, I don't know who these dudes is. They're trying to think that we gonna just see them in public and it ain't gonna be like that. So that was a huge thing at that time. But all that stemmed from that situation, from him being around those guys and everything. And Rick Ross was like, I'm gonna use it as promotion. He like, I already know what 50 doing. He using that promotion. Everybody who got something big going on, he using their name, so I'm gonna use his name. But it kind of backfired. But Rick Ross was smart about it. He ain't never directly addressed the officer thing. He was just like, nah, I don't know what he talking about. Then after a while, he started saying, well, I was a part of something, but, he started leaning into it, but he didn't want to really admit to it when it first started happening. And that's when Rick Ross started going back and forth with 50. He was like, Curtis. Then Cameron was calling him Curtis. And then Cameron was in the middle of some beef with 50 around the time, calling him Curtis. And it was kind of weird because Mace was dealing with 50, but 50 was beefing with Cameron. So a lot of things was happening around that time. But the real reason was because as soon as he put 50 in that song, and which was smart. Ross basically did the same thing that 50 was doing to everybody else. He was like, man, he putting people in every new song that he putting out. I'm gonna put him in a new song that come out, and I'm gonna put it on my album, and I'm gonna promote it, and I'm gonna use that as a reason for everybody to go buy it. So when everybody said, let me go ahead and check this CD out, Rick Ross talking about, they were like, dang, this is a good CD actually. So ever since then, that's when people was really listening to Rick Ross's whole albums. Even though Port of Miami was a good album, everybody listened to his whole album at that time. The whole album, and that's when Rick Ross started to catch fire. And that's when people started to realize, well, it's about the music with Ross. He an officer, but they like, I like his music on that Deeper Than Rap album. And that's when people after that, they start trying to compare him to Biggie. And he was just going back and forth for 50, using that promotion. But it really started from him being around a lot of guys. It's like you in a gang or something, everybody beefing with one guy, but you ain't beefing with him. It's like if you ain't beefing with one guy, then I ain't beefing with him. But if we all beefing with him, if y'all all beefing with him, then I'm gonna beef with him. And that's what kind of happened with Ross. But Ross is one of the only ones that's still going at it. And Ross could have let it go a long time ago, but he like, it ain't really doing me no harm at this point. He even said recently when he was on the Instagram, he was like, bro, I could have been stopped this. He said this like a couple of months ago. Might have even been a couple of weeks ago, a few weeks ago, when he was like, I could have been in this beef with him. He's like, why though? He said it's like a TV show. I turn it on, and he's right. And he kind of admitted to it. He's like, bro, it's like a TV show with this guy. I just turn on the IG, the live, and I just talk about this guy. And people be interested in it. And it keeps attention, it's marketing. I can brand myself. He like, I'm a whole brand. I can sit up here and promote Wingstop and everything. And that's when Rick Ross started to realize, hey, I can use this the same way he used it. So now I know how the game go. Okay, I'm doing the same thing he doing. And then that's when Rick Ross started to sign Meek Mills and Wale. And you gotta realize 50 Cent really ain't never had no problem with Meek Mill. But as soon as Meek Mill got with Rick Ross, that's when 50 was like, nah, if you were Rick Ross, then I'm gonna have a problem with you. And Meek Mill was like, Fifth, we ain't got no problem. We know I always been cool with you. But 50 just, he on that stuff where he like, man, and that's why when Meek Mill started beefing with Drake, 50 was kind of leaning towards Drake way. Like, man, y'all see Drake with that back-to-back? Man. So that's why when I tell people, they little beef right there didn't really hurt a lot of guys' career. That affected Meek Mill's career. Because instead of him having to focus on him and everybody else that was on Maybach Music around that time, it was more so focused on 50 and Rick Ross. And I think, in my eye, they kind of two are the same, to be honest with you, because most of the people that's around them, yeah, they benefit from being around them, but they get destroyed from being around them too. You know what I'm saying? It ain't really good to help somebody if you're going to destroy them in the end. So that's really the reason a little of the beef started. I'm just doing this off the top of the dome. Whoever interested in hearing it, they'll understand what I'm saying. But that's just a little bit I was throwing out there. I don't want to get into it too much.